Well, there's no problem. If you had a gun, shoot him in the head.
Dropped out in 9th grade. Our agency does about $3 million a year. So if you can change the way you think, you can change the way you serve, and you can get rid of saturation. The same people who quit SMMA today will be the same ones who quit AAA tomorrow. And overcoming those limiting beliefs.
Don't get confidence until you give your brain the data that you've done this before.
Getting small wins and start building micro habits of courage. 24 hours to go make $1,000 or my life was over. What I would do? Come on, man. Would you get to 10K a month? Would you be able to do it? I think you would. But would you regret more not trying at all? If you don't win and become one of these people, it's not because of us, because look at all of them. I hope that doesn't sound gay.
Alrighty, fellas, I'm back with another video, and today I have a special guest. This individual goes around on YouTube making claims about how much money he makes to try and sell his $997 course. Which obviously you can tell he doesn't make that much money because I got all these fancy lights and all he can afford is a neon sign that says hello in the background.
Bro,
Anyways.
3 years ago. You know what's funny? I bought that 3 years ago for my first YouTube video ever. I was like, I need a neon light. I need a neon light. And I was like, I'll buy this hello light. I didn't realize it was pink. And then it comes and it's pink, and I'm like, well, this is my light now. And that's all I have. And I'm never gonna upgrade. I'm gonna keep it forever.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anyways, as I do on this channel a lot, you guys probably know that was just a joke. The 3 million, I think that's true. That was last I heard. For all I know, it could be double that by now. Matt Shields, honestly, just give us your story to get this going.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for having me. As a fellow subscriber of the Dylan Wilson YouTube channel, it's great to be here. You're crushing it, dude. As I was just giving you props off stream, you're crushing it. So it's cool to be here. Yeah, our agency does about $3 million a year. So I run a company called Estate AI. It's a real estate marketing agency and consulting agency, where I guess our very minimal claim to fame has been is hybrid. So instead of being your typical SMMA, we have created a consulting component within our company where we actually teach our clients how to become better business owners, not just provide them leads. I've been an agency owner since I was 17, dude. I dropped out in 9th grade. I'll keep the story quick so we can get into tactical shit. Because you do those fast-paced presentations, so like I know your audience, they're ready. They don't want to hear my bullshit. So
they need more dope.
come over to Amazon, and then they had their little Amazon course. So that's just perspective for anybody who, if you ever see somebody say SMMA is dead, bullshit. Marketing agencies have been around for decades. I'm reading a book right now called Ogilvy on Advertising by David Ogilvy, the advertising legend, talking about his company Ogilvy and Mather that was around in like the 60s, maybe the 70s. Advertising has been around for probably over a century. I don't know the numbers, but it has been around forever. It is not going anywhere. The only saturation comes from the way that we think and the way that we serve. So if you can change the way you think, you can change the way you serve, and you can get rid of saturation. So just quick note, because everybody's hopping on this AAA trend. I don't know if you've seen that, Dylan, but AAA battery agencies are the new fucking thing. And I've made a video yesterday. I'm posting it tomorrow. I'm going at the AAA agencies, and I'm saying this is
your
bullshit.
Story yesterday. I was laughing at.
Yeah.
I loved your
I'm
story yesterday. It's like the reason you failed at SMMA is the same reason you're going to fail at AAA.
Yep. The same people who quit SMMA today will be the same ones who quit AAA tomorrow, and I stand by that. But I'm making a video talking about it, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. But anyway, left school, watched these dropshipping videos, then I came across a guy named Billy Wilson, and he was talking about dropping out of Kansas State University with a 4.0 and forgetting his engineering career and starting an online business. And he was like, why I dropped out of college with a 4.0. And I was like, that's weird. So I watched his YouTube videos. I kept watching more and more. And he did something called SMMA. And that was 2018. So 5 years ago. And I was like, this is super interesting. And it didn't necessarily seem to be my perfect business model. Like I actually really was more in alignment with e-com because it's like design stuff, find products online, buy and sell. Like I'd been buying and selling shoes since I was a kid. I used to buy and sell basketball shoes. I don't think I've ever talked about that, but I used to buy and sell like nice basketball Jordans, and e-com seemed very similar to me. Find products at a lower price and sell them for a higher price. SMMA was much more interactive and communicative, and you have to be persuasive and you have to talk to people. And I didn't really like talking to people. I was a shy, awkward fucking guy who probably sat at home and smoked weed and jacked off every day. That was the majority of my life as a teenager. So I was like, I don't want to go talk to dentists. I'm like, I have acne on my face. I don't want to go talk to a chiropractor. Like, I don't want to do that. But
Yeah.
I saw Billy, and Billy was like not the super charismatic Wolf of Wall Street. He was like, look, I'm Billy. He was kind of awkward. He was kind of funny, but he was just like, I saw myself in him and I trusted him. And I think
Yeah.
trust in a mentor and being able to see yourself in the person who's mentoring you is so underrated. The reason that like
Hmm.
a lot of people will watch Iman Ghazi's videos, but they won't actually ever take his advice or like do like really maximize on what he's saying is because they don't even see like Iman's so far away from them. They just like
Yeah.
they're just like he's a god, he's a legend. They don't even realize that like what Iman has done is possible for themselves too, because they don't actually
Hmm.
see themselves in Iman. And that's not just him, that's a ton of people. It could be me and you too. But I saw
Yeah.
myself in Billy, so I watched his webinar, I bought his course. Um, I got my parents to split the course with me to their dismay and anger, and I started working 70 hours a week. As a 17-year-old kid, I was just hustling
Yeah.
my ass off every single week, studying, watching videos, making cold calls, going through the fucking thick of it. Like all of the stuff beginners are doing right now, I was doing it. And I worked my ass off, scaled an agency to about 20K a month with a partner 6 months after buying the
Hmm.
course. I did all of the back end, he did all of the front end. That partnership I ended up getting screwed on, so I started a new agency from scratch. I went from 0 to 20K a month profit in 45 days. And so I was like, well, damn,
Yep.
like maybe I should have been doing this thing by myself the whole time. And then COVID happened. I lost that agency, scaled a few more agencies to 30K a month, 40K a month. And then eventually, those were with partners, those were with other people. I exited a couple of those, and then I started Estate AI, and we scaled it from 10K a month, 15K a month to $300,000 per month in a year. And it's been a journey ever since. I actually just started a seventh agency, which I haven't talked about this either. That's a
Oh.
secret, but now I'm letting secrets out because I love you, Dylan. So I started a seventh agency, and we're currently scaling that up. It's at 36K a month, and I partnered with somebody actually about 3 weeks ago, and the plan is to get it to 100K a month within the next 90 days. So we will see. But that's my story.
Well, yeah, I mean, if there was obviously I'm not going to, but if there was a way to invest into any Matt Shields agency, I would probably dump everything that I own into it. That being said, I do have a question for you
Yeah.
because I don't think you gave yourself as much credit as you deserve for that story that you told. And the reason why I say that is because, I'm in the fortunate position where I talk to hundreds of people every single day. Now, the unfortunate side of things is I would say that there's a good majority of those people that I talk to on any given day that I'm talking to the older version of Matt Shields. The Matt Shields that, sat around and jacked off every day. The Matt Shields that didn't have the confidence or to even go and talk to a chiropractor.
Yep.
So the biggest thing that I see in these people that I get to have conversations with is the limiting beliefs that they have. They don't believe that they could sell anything for more than $500 a month. I see people sell $50 setup fees because they have so many limiting beliefs as to around price and money and business. So how did you go about breaking those limited beliefs?
Yeah.
Or, the way I broke my limiting beliefs was just through failure, failure, failure. Eventually, you just figure it out. So if you took that same path, what would you say to somebody who has all these limiting beliefs today?
So the unsexy answer is basically what you said, which is patience and
Yeah.
time. Patience and persistence, rather. Not just
Yeah.
sitting around waiting, but sitting
Yeah.
around doing and then waiting for the outcome, right? Like patience without persistence is just insanity. Like you're waiting for things to get better without doing anything, and that's the definition of insanity. But
Hmm.
persistence without patience leads you to anger and quitting because you're going, but you're putting in work, but you're not being patient enough. So like the
Hmm.
unsexy answer is, dude, it took me 6 agencies to get to 100K a month. It took me 3.5 years to get to 100K a month. It
Mm-hmm.
was a lot of failure. Literally, there were 5 failures before we did that. So it was a lot of trial and error. As far as the limiting beliefs specifically, this kind of comes across in my content. What has done the most for me, what has been the most valuable for me as far as overcoming those limiting beliefs, those fears, those doubts, it has
Mm-hmm.
been surrounding myself with people who were ahead of me and getting in
Mm-hmm.
physical rooms with
Mm-hmm.
human beings that are making more money than me, as you just did in Missouri, and you were telling me it
Yeah.
was a life-changing
Yeah.
experience for you. Getting in getting in rooms and going to events where agency owners are doing 100K a month and I was doing zero, and I felt super insecure and out of place because I'm like, I don't belong here. You guys are all way better than me. But then at the end of the event, realizing I can be one of these motherfuckers too.
Yeah.
That led me to going from zero to 150K a month in 11 months. Going to Joel Kaplan's
Mm-hmm.
event, getting in the room with people. I went from zero to 150K a month in 11 months because I went to the room and I saw that it was real. I realized it wasn't
Yeah.
even belief, dude. It wasn't even belief. Like I've tried to articulate this on a couple videos. It's not belief, it's like realization. It's like just knowing like, hey, this is actually possible. Because believing is like,
Mm-hmm.
oh well, I think I think you can do it. I believe that it might be possible. But realization is like accepting it as a true thing. And once you accept it as a true thing, there's no more excuses. So like a lot of people watching these videos right now, in the back of their mind is 100K a month's not possible. Matt's either an anomaly, a liar,
Mm-hmm.
or he's an exception, right? Right? Like he's
Yeah.
either an anomaly, he's a liar, or he's a scammer. There's something I don't
Yes.
know, right? And so once you actually realize that it's real, you see somebody's Stripe account, you go to an event and everybody's doing it and you're like, "Oh wait, like I've been lying to myself this whole time. There is no
Yeah.
catch. People are actually fucking doing this." Then you don't
Yeah.
allow yourself to have excuses anymore. You believe fully, you realize that it's possible, and so thus you start to do
Mm-hmm.
everything and maximize your days to make the outcome possible that you want to achieve. So you stop giving yourself excuses. You start going way harder because you're like, "Oh, this is real. I'm not good enough."
Yeah.
And sitting with that, I'm not good enough, like actually internalizing that, sitting with that, that's where you become great because you're like, there is no other reason I'm not succeeding. It is me. And you either accept
Yeah.
that and you become complacent and you start to hate yourself, or you become better. So going to events made me realize that and become better.
100%. And I have one thing to add on that too, because, as somebody who's like, I've had to answer that question a lot recently. And one of the things that, made me reflect about my own journey, and I'm curious, I bet you've have very similar instances, but it's this myth that you need confidence in order to do something. You need confidence to go and accomplish things. You need confidence to go sell high ticket. You need confidence to do
Yeah.
something along the lines of that. And to me, this is it's a false belief because you don't get confidence until you give your brain the data that you've done this before, right? Confidence comes as like, oh, I've done this before, I can do it again. So
Yeah.
it's like, how do you do it for the first time? Well, you need courage to go and do that the first time. And I put a little story that got a lot of positive feedback where it was like, hey, I didn't have the confidence to sell high ticket until I sat on a Zoom call one time with courage. I didn't have the confidence to go do my 100-kilometer ultra marathon until I laced up my cheap running shoes with courage. I don't have the confidence to go pick up some chick at the bar until I did it once with courage.
Yep. Dude, that's beautifully said. Um I couldn't agree more. Courage implies almost a lack of confidence. Like courage by
Yeah.
its nature is acting despite your lack of confidence. So everybody's like, how do I become
Mm.
confident? I think the question is, how do you become courageous? And that I didn't have courage as a kid. I still struggle with it now. Like I'm still constantly pushing myself to be more courageous and do more things outside my comfort zone. Always. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't stop. And I think in the beginning that is a huge part though. Is like how do you build the courage? And a great tactical thing you can do here is start getting small wins and start building micro habits of courage. Start talking to a stranger every day that you walk outside. Say hello to one random person. Just start having conversations. Start going up to the pretty girl that you're scared to talk to. Start just these and it doesn't even need to be that big, because I understand like that's one of our most primal fears is getting rejected by a mate. So that is understandably a very scary thing. But start building these micro habits of courage and just do them in all areas of your life. Go run past your limits, go work out past your limits, go keep challenging yourself. And in all areas of your life, if you build these habits, eventually it's going to reflect in your business, because your business is just a reflection of who you are in your life. So don't think you need business courage at first. Start to build it in all these other areas, and it will transfer to your business.
Yeah, 100%. So now that we have the hypothetical Jerry that we're speaking to, now they have the confidence and the courage to
Man, I hope his
actually
name's
go and
not
start.
Jerry. In 2023, bro, if your name's Jerry, you should not have confidence. No, I'm playing. I'm kidding. I'm kidding,
So
Jerry. I
now
love
this
you.
hypothetical person that we're talking to, whoever you are watching this video, now that you've realized what you need to break those limiting beliefs, and now you're like, okay, I'm ready to start my SMMA. I'm
Yeah.
ready to stop being a little bitch and start the SMMA. Okay, so as you with who knows how many clients you signed on, and more money than most people will ever
Over a
even
thousand.
make.
Over 1,000 clients.
Okay, so more money than most families will ever make combined in their entire life. You probably make that. Anyways, everything is taken from you except for what's in your mind. How are you making your first $1,000?
My first 1,000, my first 10,000.
1,000.
Okay. Everything's taken from me except for the information in my mind. I'm doing exactly what we're doing right now. I'm going to finding a real estate agent. I'm running Facebook ads for him. I'm selling them.
How are you finding the real estate agent? How are you getting the appointment? How
Yeah.
are you closing
Do I
them?
have
All that
any
kind of
money
stuff.
or no? I'm broke.
You're broke. You got no case studies. Nothing.
Okay, so if I had 24 hours to go make $1,000 or my life was over, what I would do?
I would go to the strip club, but let's hear what you would do.
I would go to Wells Fargo. I'd say, everybody on the fucking ground. um, I would, in this hypothetical scenario, I would call as many realtors as humanly possible with as much conviction as
Mhm.
humanly possible. And I would give them my honest pitch, and I would just call. And then I would also go and walk into places. Like if my life was on the line, I'd be walking into all of the brokerages. I'd be going into open houses to find the realtors. Or if I worked with gyms, I would go into the gyms. I would be persistent. I would
Mhm.
say, look, I know I'm just a guy who is here selling you something, but I'm not going to leave until I at least have a chance for you guys to hear me out, because I really know I can help you. And like I would have that in the back of my
Mhm.
mind of like, I need to do
Yeah.
whatever it takes in order
Yeah.
to survive. Like, what if your life was on the
Yeah.
line? I love to use death as a theoretical, because a fascinating thing happens to human beings when their survival was on the line. What if you
Mhm.
had 30 days to get to 10K a month? What if you had 30 days to get to 10K a month, or your life was over? You never got to wake up again. You never got to talk to your parents again. You never got to take another breath. Your life was done. This all was over. You don't get to watch any more Dylan Wilson YouTube videos. What would you do? How would you get to 10K a month? Would you be able to do it? I think you would, because you'd probably stop all the bullshit. You'd probably actually start
Yeah.
treating your life seriously, like it actually means something, because it does. And you'd actually start showing up for yourself every single day, maximizing your days instead of wasting them, and mentally
Yeah.
masturbating, watching videos, doing bullshit, going on TikTok, jerking off, eating shitty food, getting bad night of sleep, playing video games. You would start going all out every single day, and that just shows that you are capable currently.
Mhm.
The thing that holds you back is not your lack of information, it is your lack of action. And so that's what I would do if I had 24 hours. My life was on the line. I had to make a grand. I'd go
That's
walk
awesome. And
in.
I think the other thing too, which really is powerful with those walk-ins and stuff, is like, the biggest thing that I have seen from, where objections stem from, especially in the beginner world of SMMA, is like the people, the agency owners trying to reach out to the business owners, and the business owner doesn't even know if it's a real person or if it's a bot,
Yeah.
right? And so one of the
Yeah.
things that we talk about a lot is like, half the battle is like you have to show that you're a real person, that you're somebody
Mm,
that can be trusted. And I think like just naturally meeting people in person gives you a layer of trust that, can't be found from a simple Instagram
100%.
DM.
100%.
So now you're at 1K. How you getting to 10?
So I'm taking my 1K. Honestly, I'm repeating the process to get to like 5. And I'm probably
Yeah.
raising my price from 1K to like 1,500. So I'm raising
Yeah.
my price to 1,500 a month. I'm over delivering for these clients. Like they have unlimited access to me. Like I'm doing whatever I can for them. I'm
Yeah.
going above and
Bending over
beyond for them.
backwards. Yeah.
I'm doing that to, a few clients. I'm at like 4K, 5K a month now. And now I'm starting paid ads. And this is where it gets fun. Now I'm putting a grand, 2 grand, whatever. I'm not eating out. I'm not buying a fucking Aura ring. I'm not buying a $15 neon sign. I'm not buying anything. I am saving all of that money that I can. I'm living as cheaply as possible and I'm putting it all back into paid ads. And I'm putting every single dollar I have into paid ads because I know that 4K is going to turn into 40. For like a real example here, Estate AI, when we first started, we were doing 1K a month in ad spend. We were doing about 15K a month revenue. Month 2, we were doing about 5K a month ad spend. We started doing about 50K a month revenue. Month 3, we spent 10K on ads. We made 100K a month in revenue. Month 4, we were doing about 25K a month in ad spend, and we were doing about 200K a month revenue. So it was like literally just raise ad spend, raise revenue. So and I would just start that process.
But Matt,
But
what if
what?
the ads don't work? What if I lose all my money?
Then you get to try again. You get to try again. You got
Worst case scenario, you end up in the exact same spot you started in.
exactly. What if you never run them in the first place? Would you regret more losing $1,000 to some Facebook ads? Or would you regret more not trying at all, staying in the same exact situation you're in, and living the life that you're currently terrified of? Which would you regret more? Jeff Bezos' framework for decision making is regret minimization. The reason he started Amazon, he almost didn't start Amazon. He was a high paid can't think of the word. What the heck are those guys? Investment banker. He was an investment banker, I believe. He was a high paid, great job, and I think he was an investment banker or a management consultant or one of those fancy jobs. And he went and he told his boss, like, hey, I want to start a bookstore on the internet because I think this internet thing's going to be big. This was like 1993. And his boss is like, Jeff, it's a great idea. It'd be an even better idea for somebody who doesn't already have a great job. And he's like, think about it before you do it. And Jeff was like, all right. So Jeff, I think he tells a story of like walking around Central Park thinking about it. And he realized, I think the internet's going to be big and I want to be a part of it. I don't want to look back on my life having missed out on the opportunity of the internet. And it was for that reason he started Amazon, and we all know who Jeff Bezos is, and he became the wealthiest man in the world for a period of time. So regret minimization. That's how I like to make decisions because it clearly works for people much smarter than me.
For sure. So, a lot of us know you as the guy who got famous by copying Alex Ramosi. And
From the
we noticed
video?
that one of the things
The 6 SMMAs
we
video?
noticed, yeah.
Fair.
And one of the things that is also, and hey, this was a question that I got from my community. Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the questions that was brought up is that after you got famous for, that video, we've seen a lot of content of you playing basketball.
Yeah.
But I've had some people doubt your abilities to actually put the ball in the hoop.
Come on, man. Come on. That's crazy. That famous is a strong word, by the way. That's a very strong word for 17,000 subscribers, but thank you. Dude, catch me on the court. Run it.
Yeah,
Run
let's
it.
do it. Okay, anyways, back to business.
You know what's funny though? I
Partnerships.
think on my YouTube channel, I don't know if it's still there, but
Yeah.
my old videos, it's like, I think I'm using the same YouTube channel. It used to literally just be Matt Shields, Team Liberty, Class of 2019 highlights. Like it was just my basketball AAU highlights. So maybe I need to
There
post
you
those
go.
again. I need to post those again. So motherfuckers, no.
Yeah, they were asking me like, I wonder how many takes it takes of the camera it takes for him to actually get it in the hoop.
That's fucked.
These are the questions that we get.
That is hilarious.
Anyways,
the one video, the
partnerships.
day in the life, it took like 5 takes because it was a double rim. It was windy, but usually it takes like 3, but it did take 5.
Okay, 3.
Anyway.
Partnerships in the beginning.
Yeah.
As two people, they don't know nothing about life. They don't know nothing about business. What do you think?
What's worse than one dumb person is two dumb people. And that's honestly just the way you pose that question. Usually, like, I'm a fan of partnerships, but yeah, if you're ignorant in the beginning, and you're trying to figure it all out, which we all are in the beginning, taking another person who doesn't know what they're doing can be a very
Mm-hmm.
risky idea. It doesn't mean it won't work. It just means it's very risky because they're going to have a whole bunch of
Mm-hmm.
bad ideas. You're going to have a whole bunch of
Mm-hmm.
bad ideas. Now you have to figure out whose bad ideas are less worse.
Worse.
And
Yeah.
so I think in the beginning, just learning the business by getting your hands dirty and doing as much as you can, that's a good
Mm-hmm.
idea. With that being said, a steady eye, I have a partner, would not have gone as far without him. The first agency I
Mm-hmm.
started, I had a partner, would not have gone as far without him. But ultimately, I did better in that same niche when I ran it by myself than I did with a partner. I
Yeah.
made more money. I learned. I became better. I forced myself to become better.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like the analogy that I've used, because I was unsure as to what your particular opinion would be on that, but it turns out you have the exact same opinion on that as I did. The analogy I use is that if you're sitting there in math class or the teacher in math class and you have the final exam, if you put the two dumbest kids on the class, you say you guys can write the final exam together, like nothing's gonna happen, right? But if you
Mm,
take, one kid who's like really good at algebra and the other kid that's really good at geometry and you make them partner together, well, you're gonna get a really good final exam mark.
I agree, but in the beginning, most people aren't really good at algebra or really good at geometry.
Oh, 100%. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Um, but
100%.
like, there are exceptions though. Like, if you see the potential in somebody and they're like, look, you have a sales background. I think you're going to be good at sales. And then you're like, I really like the tech stuff. That was my partner and I's
Yeah.
partnership. He was
Yeah.
a sales guy. He had sales experience. I was obsessed with the back end. So he's just like, let's do it. And it made sense and it worked. So
Yeah.
it can work. A lot of these things are not binary, like either good or bad. They're like, to what specific extent will this work for you? And you have to
Yeah.
just have what Gary Vee preaches about for the last decade, self-awareness. Like, you need to actually be
Yeah.
able to think for yourself, because you're just getting advice from me, and there's a good chance that I don't know anything. So you got to be able to think for yourself. That is literally the key to entrepreneurship, is thinking for yourself. So don't yell at me
100%.
if you and your business partner break
Now,
up. Not my fault.
I have a bit of a tactical question to throw your way.
My favorite.
Or not me, one of the things that we commonly get asked, and I think it's a very prominent issue or perhaps a perceived issue amongst beginner SMMA owners, is how often they get ghosted and no-showed for their demo calls, for their sales calls, for their discovery calls, whatever the heck,
Yeah,
onboarding calls if they don't collect payment on the first call. How would you like? What do you guys do about minimizing no-shows?
good question. So first thing is make the slots shorter. So instead of an hour long slot, 30-minute slot, that literally
Mm-hmm.
doubles your ability to take appointments, and it hedges against the fact that a lot are going to be no shows. The other
Mm-hmm.
thing is automated text reminders. If you're not doing automated text reminders, then you're missing out on show rates.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also ask them to confirm. So, like, Dylan, just want to send you a quick reminder, man. We have our meeting 24 hours from now. Does this time still work for you? And if they don't
Mm-hmm.
confirm, you call them. And if they don't answer your call, you text them again. If they don't answer anything, you kick them off the calendar and you say, "Sorry, man, I had to move you because we didn't confirm your appointment, and I want to make sure that the time actually works for you to meet. Is there a better time for us to reschedule?" So we try to confirm everybody that gets on our calendar, and if they don't confirm, then you can kick them off. That's another thing
Mm-hmm.
you can do. Most people don't have enough appointments to really do that in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're getting hundreds of appointments a month, so it makes sense for us to kick people off. If you're getting 30 appointments, 40 appointments a month, you probably want to take everyone that you get. But you can lower the slots to try to make more opportunities. That way, if you do miss somebody, you have another meeting in 30 minutes. You get basically two at bats in an hour rather than getting one at bat in an hour.
Yeah. No, 100%. So, okay. So we've made our first 1,000. Then we went on and
Yep.
made 5K by doing the exact same thing that we did to make the first 1,000. Now we have people showing up to our calendar. We're selling. Our business is growing. How do we make these clients stay so we're not just some churn and burn sales organization?
Great question. We set very strong expectations. That is the number one thing. Like that is, I don't hear this
Mhm.
talked about enough. We set crystal clear expectations. Mr. Wilson, you are not going to get rich in your first month from Facebook ads. What you will get is you will get some seeds that you get to plant. You will have some conversations with customers, and we will continue to get data from the ads to figure out what we can do to continue to make the process better. This isn't a get rich
Yeah.
quick scheme, Mr. Wilson. As you can appreciate as a respected business owner, this is a process and it's a partnership. There's no magic secret. There's only consistent hard work and good communication amongst us. Is that fair enough to agree to? Right? So, like, setting the expectation
That's fire.
that this takes time. The first month is literally just us getting data. We expect to see more traction by month 3. And if they're like, oh, that's too long, it's like, Mr. Wilson, how long do you plan on being in business? Oh, well, probably the next 30 years. Is it worth it to you to take 3 months to figure out a system that will predictably and profitably acquire customers for the next 30 years? Or would you rather just not give it
Yes.
a shot and figure it out every year now for the rest of your 30 years? So like that, if when you frame it to them with how long are you going to be in business, you're basically showing them they should be more patient, which is exactly what we were talking about in the beginning. Just like you need to be more patient, your customers need to be more patient. So
Yeah.
transferring that to them through expectation setting is really powerful. Also, giving them ownership over the results. The biggest thing we do in a client expectation call, which I think is like one of our biggest golden nuggets at customer success at Estate AI, is client expectation calls. One of the biggest things we do is we go from it's on Estate AI to it's on Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson, this is how our system works. You see XYZ client that all crush it and have amazing success with our system. If
Mhm.
you don't win and become one of these people, it's not because of us, because look at all of them. It's because of you. And so here's what you need to do to make sure that you win. If you struggle with doing these things, message us so we can help you. But ultimately, you are the X factor. We have a slide on our presentation that literally says, you are the X factor. And so we make it very clear to the clients while keeping them excited by showing them all of these amazing results. It is going to be up to them to follow up with the leads, convert the leads, put in the work, do the actual sales. They are going to have to do their job.
You said something on that podcast with Brett that just lit a huge smile on my face. Now I'm paraphrasing it, but I want you to elaborate on this. The same information that some people are requesting chargebacks, refunds, disputing on
Yeah.
is the same information that somebody else will take and become a millionaire with.
That's Dan Henry, by the way. I think, but yeah, the same information that our clients have disputed, complained about, asked for refunds, our other clients have gone on to make hundreds of thousands of dollars with. At the end of the day, it is on the person. It is not about the information. It is about becoming the person capable of using the information. And the same goes for us. Because if you gave me a bunch of tools and a bunch of bricks and you say, go build a house, it wouldn't matter. I have all the tools right there. I have all the softwares. I have everything I need to build a house. I'm not the person who
Yeah.
knows how to build a house. I'm not the person capable of building a house yet. So
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's on the person.
100%. Last one here. So the jump, I'm curious to know the limiting beliefs that you had to break, the jumps that you had to make, the epiphanies that you uncovered going from a $20,000 a month kid to a $250,000 a month business owner running a serious, legit empire. Because anybody can sit in their basement and make 20K a month. Within like, as long as
Yeah,
they
I
do the
mean,
right things,
bold,
obviously.
bold claim, but I agree with you. I do
You get what I
think
mean, right? Like,
I get
you
what
know
you
what I
mean.
mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, like, I guess the better way of putting it is like, if you know what you're doing, you can make 20K a month sitting there in your basement,
How do
if you
you
just
build a
know what to do.
legit company, basically? Is that the
How do
question?
you turn this $20,000 a month kid who's running Facebook ads for 8 different clients, charging $1,500 a month? I don't know the math, but you get what I'm saying. To a $250,000 a month empire
Yeah.
with staff, teams, systems, and all that kind of stuff.
You become a student of management and leadership and HR and the boring shit. It's the most boring shit. But
Yeah.
you become a student at managing and mastering people. because in the beginning you're an executor. But if
Yeah.
you want to scale, you have to become an executive. So you have to become somebody who, instead of like as entrepreneurs, we're great at, hey, I'll get it done. I'll do things my own way. I'll go hard if it's in my own mind. Like I'll do what I want to do and I'll do it well. And we put a lot of self
Yeah.
reliance in our lives of like we're the masters of our fate, the captains of our ship, blah blah blah. But now
Yeah.
it's, instead of me creating the outcomes for myself, which I'm comfortable with, how do I get somebody else to create the outcomes for me? That is the next leap from level 1 to level 2. Like level 2 to level 3 is like, how do I get other people to perform better than I do on the things that make me money? How do I get somebody else to run ads better than me? How do I get somebody else to
Yeah.
sell better than I do? How do I get somebody else to manage clients better than I do? And I'd say to State AI, we have that. We have better salespeople than Jared and I. We have
Yep.
better customer success managers than Jared and I, and we have better media buyers than Jared and I. So like we have made people. My most proud moment at this company is we have made people better than us at the things that make the company money. So that's what you have to start doing. It is not easy. It is like, it's honestly way harder than getting rejected on sales calls or figuring out how to crack IGDMs, figuring out how to manage people and hire and recruit and handle raises and employee confrontation. And
Yeah.
like, it's a mess, but it is super, super rewarding and it makes you a way
Yeah.
better person. Like, it just makes you a way better
Yeah.
person. In all of your relationships and all of the moments in your life and the way that you think about everything, knowing how to manage people is an underrated and extremely valuable skill. So that's what you have to do if you want to make that leap to become a legitimate organization. You have to become a master at the most boring thing in business, which is HR.
100%. I can't. Yeah. I would have it. I would probably have to hire my own HR department. I don't know if I would
We
be
don't have HR,
with my with
and it's
well with
very
my
clear,
personality. The HR with my personality, the HR department would be kind of wild.
dude. We don't have HR, and it shows on our team meetings. But dude, that's the thing. I think people,
You can't say that at a team meeting, Dylan.
dude, trust me, we get that literally every week. And it sucks because like I'm basically the HR. Like people are like I'm basically like the old guy who like ruins the fun, but like I have to
Yeah.
protect us, so I kind of have to do it. It's
Yeah.
like, and it sucks, but I think people are more and more leaning towards smaller organizations where they can really be themselves, even if there's
Yeah.
less pay, less opportunity in the beginning. If they see
Hmm.
potential and they see that they can actually be themselves and express themselves, they don't want to separate their work from their lives. Like they don't want to go to an office
Hmm.
every day and be somebody else for 8 hours and then come home with their girlfriend and actually be who they are. They want to be the same person. And so I think small organizations really have that benefit of authenticity, that keeps people glued to them because they've never experienced it before until this like
Yeah.
digital age. It's very, very rare. And once they experience it, they're hooked. They don't want to go anywhere else. So anyway, just a bonus tip.
That's wild. Alrighty, sir. Well.
Cool.
I guess I'm gonna do the cliche, typical wrap up the podcast, boring stuff. But what's I guess any last like thing that I didn't ask? I didn't ask good enough questions, and you're like, damn, I really wish Dylan asked me this because I have
Well, I
value to
love the
share.
way you framed it. You said, how do I get to one? Okay, cool. How do I go from 1 to 10? Cool. How do I go from basically 10 to 7 figures? So it's like
Yeah.
the final thing I'll finish with, I guess, is never stop selling, never stop recruiting. I said this at the event. I don't know if you were sleeping or not, but never stop selling. Never. I don't even know if you were
That's a good
at.
story. Yeah.
I don't know if you were at our Q&A, but yeah, you fell asleep during one of the presentations. Luckily, I wasn't speaking during that. I would have cried. But yeah, never stop selling, never stop recruiting. That is the path to go from 10K to 100K to 200, 300K. Never stop selling, never stop recruiting. Constantly have a flow of customers and constantly have a flow of team members coming in that you're talking to, and that's the path. It's that simple, but it's also that hard. So that is the process. And yeah, please tell them how you fell asleep and got yelled at.
Well, I'm gonna sound like a bitch telling this story, but I don't really care. Okay? People call me names all the time, so I'll call me more names in the comment section. But I pull up to this mastermind event, and I was just like, blown away for 2 days. Literally staying up till 1, 2 a.m. in the morning. And then Matt, I don't know if you knew this, but I was getting up at 5 a.m. every morning too.
I did not know that.
Because I wanted to I was staying up all night to talk to people, and I was like so like kid in a candy store. So I was going to sleep. Granted, I had to sleep in the same bed as Tony Lee, which is a whole nother story.
Great
Then
story.
like literally 3 hours later, I would get up and I would go sit outside, have conversations with the boys that went to bed early last night and woke up early in the morning. And then during the presentations, I was so I was so engaged and whatnot. And then the last day before we went out for dinner, Jared did that presentation, and it was about like finances. It was about a more duller topic. There's no debating. Like obviously, we're talking about running ads and sales and all that kind of stuff. Like the dopamine fuck is going like this. But when we're talking about like more textbook
Yeah.
style finance things, I was sitting on the couch, and this is my second day on 3 hours of sleep. Maybe 6 hours of sleep total. And then the next thing I know, I'm getting yelled at.
For being
And he's
asleep.
like, "Hey," and people are tapping me on, and I'm like, "What is going on?" I didn't even know I fell asleep. But then after, I felt so bad at the moment, in the moment. And then I remember as we were driving to dinner that night, I turned around and I said to Jared, I was like, "Jared, I am so sorry. I did
I
not mean to
remember
do
that.
it was nothing. It was no intention, nothing. I didn't even know I fell asleep, and then until I was getting yelled at to wake up.
It was, dude, it was a great event. It was a great time. It was awesome getting to meet you, and um I'm super impressed with what you're doing, and I hope that doesn't sound um what's the word? I'm trying to think of the right. There's a specific word. I used this word yesterday.
Gay?
I hope that doesn't sound gay. No, the word is patronizing. I hope that doesn't sound patronizing when I
Oh,
say, "Hey, I'm proud of what you're doing." That's the
I
word.
appreciate that.
Woo! Glad we got that one figured out. Anyway, yeah, but dude, seriously, I'm super, yeah, like at the event, I was super impressed, and everything you're doing with YouTube, I think you're killing it, and I think your channel is gonna blow up because you deliver value quickly. You do the presentations; they're entertaining, but they also have value, and
Yeah.
it's good. It's good stuff. I respect you for making those fucking presentations every time too, because that is how I made my first two videos, and that shit sucks. Dude, it took me 6 hours my first video to make a presentation. I was like, this isn't scalable, bro. So I
Yeah.
commend you guys. If you're not already subscribed to Dylan, please subscribe. Please like. Please comment. Please give him your money. Because he spends a lot of time making those presentations for you, and they almost
That's what I say.
always
I'm a
have.
guru who I say that in every video. I'm a guru who only posts content on YouTube so I can steal all your money and buy a Lamborghini.
It's true. He has one. He just hasn't flexed it yet.
Yeah, I just keep flexing the cheap watch. Okay, well, last thing.
Yeah.
How can we how can my following provide value to you? Like, where do you want? Like, I know you're not. If you haven't caught on so far, the 997 joke, course joke in the beginning was a complete joke. So really, how can we provide value to you if there's no 997 course that we can
Scale
buy?
up your agencies, take the information, use it, and then share it with more people and give it back and just continue to do that in the world. Focus on serving others after you've served yourself because you can't serve anybody else until you've served yourself. You're useless to others until you have become useful to yourself. So serve yourself, and then once you do, just don't sell out. Serve others, make a difference in this world. And if we all do that together, dude, like if we all actually, like, let's say this gets 2,000 views, right? And like 100 of us actually go do something about our fucking lives, and then we go share all
Yeah,
this and we create YouTube channels, and like that is a massive tectonic shift in the world that we all can make together. So that's kind of the thought process
100%.
of serve others, which I know you mentioned in the beginning. So that's what you guys can do: serve yourself and then serve others once you get there.
Awesome, man. Well, appreciate your time. I know it's valuable.